You have to pardon me, everybody. I'm just making sure my tie is on straight. Sometimes this tie don't want to work. It don't want to work for me sometimes. But I think I got it as good as I can get it. I got to refine a little bit. Now, let me get my piece de resistance, and then we'll get started. All right, everybody. Here we are. Let me make sure I look good. Trim my mustache a little bit. Made myself look all prim and proper. So now we are ready to get started with more One Piece reflections. So we got 3 chapters this month. Since, it's the last day of the month, for those of you who don't know, I always do a reflection of the One Piece chapters that we get at the end of each month. And we only got 3 this month, chapters 9, 81, 82, and 83. All of them good chapters, one in the middle that was kind of, like a bit of a setup chapter, and not overly, not overly hyped like some of them have been. But the set of chapters that we did get this month were really, really good. What would be the name of my pirate crew? The Barnacle Boys? Ah, no. No, not Barnacle Boys. Sounds like something that SpongeBob would make up. You know what? We'll probably find... I'll keep it in mind. But, I'll keep it in mind, and I'll probably come up with something at the end of this entire chapter's reflection. So, let's go ahead and get started with chapters 981, as soon as it'll pull it up for me. We got a nice cover page here. Chapter 981 was a really good one, because it first starts out with Kid, embedding his metal fist into Apu, breaking him down, breaking him off a piece. Then it causes more trouble to go around. Queen is surprised that Kid is there because apparently Babanuki didn't tell the truth, but as we know, Babanuki was under the control of Tama's Kibidongo Zoan pacifying power, which is really OP when you think about it. These headliners that serve Kaido and serve the high performers and all the calamities, they are easily done in by this one Paramecia type devil fruit. Little girl! She's like 9 years old! And she has some of the highest ranking members of Kaido's entire crew under her control. She's got Speed, she's got Babanuki, she's got anybody she feeds that Kibidongo to, who are, either Zoans or artificial Zoans. So as this is going on, everyone's arguing, Queen is surprised, and apparently it's, we find out that Apu was a informant for Kaido, which led to some theories that I brought up about maybe it was Apu that told Kaido where their meeting was, and that's where Kaido crash landed. And due to his hobby of committing suicide all the time, he decided to, crash the party by trying to jump off of an entire Sky Island, hoping that, well, if I don't die, then I can see what's going on down here. But if I do die, then hey, at least I fulfilled my lifelong goal. So that happens. The whole stick happens where Kaido, takes Kid, Apu is serving him, and Hawkins joins him. And, well, you guys know the rest. Did you really think, and then Apu says, did you really think that us teaming up would tip the scales to the point of crushing one of the 4 emperors? Hey, Karma. Also, let me acknowledge everyone. Cool K, Grant Dolman, Jacob Charles, Psycho Ghost Rider, Karma, and CJ. It's good to see all of you. I want to make sure that I make a habit of acknowledging you all by name whenever you come in. My apologies if I didn't do that earlier. But Apu says, did you really think that us teaming up would tip the scales to the point of crushing one of the four emperors? Wake up to the real world. What kind of alliance between pirates is ever going to have a happy ending? I thought you were already dead. And then Apu, using his devil fruit powers, slashes Kid across the chest. And hold on, let me move my mic over just a little bit so I can easily get to the directional buttons. And one of the beast pirates says, Queen, I gotta say, these guys might be tough to take in alive. And then Queen says, you have permission to kill. So they're pretty much going to take them, try and kill them as much as they can. Trying to kill them if they're able. But seeing as how we know how strong Kid and pretty much everyone else who's with them right now are, that has a very low chance of happening. But of course, the Beast Pirates are reveling in the fact that they get to kill someone. And then Killer says, let's get out of here, Kid. Look, Killer's here too. Hey, you stay out of this. You're not good enough to be a Toby Robo, even if you kill them. And as that goes on, I'm just now noticing that this giant, which looks like one of the numbers, I think he has sneakers on. I don't know if that's the type of shoes he has, but it looks like he's got on sneakers. Of course, we don't get like a full body view of him, and his name is Hacha. We don't get a full body view of him, but it does look like sneakers though. Apu talking facts though. Hawkins, Apu, and Kid would not be able to take down a Yonko. No, if they were trying to take down Big Mom, they would have failed because Big Mom is a giant abnormal tank. And Kaido, it would have been impossible because the only one who was able to even inflict any amount of damage on him was Kozuki Oden from 30 years ago. And that's because Kozuki Oden was powerful in his own right. He had strength to rival Kaido. And no one has come along to challenge that strength. But we have to see how far Luffy gets in his training, because at some point he's going to have to take down Kaido in order for him to, check that one Yonko off of his list. But this number, Hacha, comes in, and I know a lot of us had to agree on the fact that we did not think that this group, the numbers group, we didn't think they were just going to look so plain. I mean, we saw them all in silhouetted shadowed form, and we never saw their just what they look like. And the first number we see is a guy with like a coconut head bowl cut. If you guys don't know who Coconut Head is, then watch Ned's Declassified. Coconut Head. And he's just dressed in all black. And he's just using like a spiked kanabo, kind of similar to Kaido's. Except his has more of like a rounded ball ending rather than it just being one rounded shape. It looks like it turns into like, it's thin in the shaft and the handle, but then it turns into like a ball end at the end of it. Smashes down to where Killer and the rest of the crew are. 2 men down, someone stop him. Can they not control that guy? Is he a giant? He looks even bigger. So apparently, in Kid's eyes, he may even be bigger than a giant. But it doesn't confirm whether Hacha is a giant or not, because it just says his title, numbers, and then his name, Hacha. But it doesn't give us any more information than that. So, as far as I know... Oh, no you don't. Get back there. I tried to move the window that I'm looking at these pages on, and it just decided to, minimize and shrink. But as that's going on, someone's firing arrows, and they're exploding. Let's run to the castle, Jackie. And of course, you know how Kid is when it comes to Luffy, telling him what to do. It's just... he doesn't follow orders from anyone. Also, hey, D-Train, sorry that I didn't acknowledge you when you first came in. My apologies. I should have known you just had to go and cause a scene, Jaggy. You're the last one who should be talking, Luffy. Same to you, Roanoa. All 3 of these people are trying to tell each other that I should have known you were going to cause trouble when it literally is something they are known to start. They are unintentional hypocrites. Why are you causing trouble? Earlier, 2 seconds earlier. Gum Gum Elephant Guns. You're the last one who should be talking, Luffy. 2 seconds later. A whole building just gets sliced by Zoro. Same to you, Roronoa. 2 seconds earlier. Did I keep saying 2 seconds later or 2 seconds later or 2 seconds earlier? 2 seconds earlier. Proceeds to, Buddha palm a Scratchman into the wall with enough force to break the wall and, not be conspicuous. And then Killer's just in the background thinking what we're all thinking. They're all idiots. And he's just laughing to himself as well. Check it out! And then Killer says, cover your ears! And of course he says boom, but Kid, Roronoa, and Luffy, I really don't call Zoro Roronoa all that much. I just call him Zoro. But Kid, Zoro, and Luffy cover their ears and nothing happens. Because Killer says, Apu's attacks carry anywhere in hearing range. If you hear it, there's no avoiding it. Watch out for sneak attacks. Now, I know I said this before, and I said this during the chapter. I said this during the chapter after that one, and I'm saying it now. Scratchman's entire Devil Fruit power just reminds me more of a quirk from My Hero than an actual Devil Fruit power. Because the drawbacks is like something you would see in My Hero. Like, Midoriya and his One For All. He can use it, but the drawback is he can't use too much of it or it will supersede the capacity that his body would allow and it will injure him. Let me see. Tomura Shigaraki. His decay quirk before he became what he is now, just in case there's some people in the chat right now that have not read their latest chapter, he could only decay things with all 5. He could decay anything he touches, but it has to be all of his fingers, otherwise it won't work at all. Like I said, previous way that Shigaraki was. Then you have Hawks. He can use his wings to attack at high speeds and fly at high speeds, but they are not good for just straight up combat against powerful foes. All of these powerful quirks have good advantages, but they also have their drawbacks. Scratchman's Devil Fruit power is essentially just like a quirk. It has powerful advantages, but also has its disadvantages as well. His power won't work on you if you can't hear it. So essentially, his Devil Fruit is rendered useless if people know of his power beforehand and then prepare accordingly. He can't do anything he can't use any of his powers against his enemies if they know that he's going to use them and they know that he has that's how his powers work. So, out of all the Paramecia type Devil Fruits, this one has a very significant drawback that I don't think anyone can work around unless they figure out how to cause sounds to go through people covering up their ears. That's just my take on it. I mean, it's a powerful ability, being able to slash Zoro and pretty much anyone else at any time. It's able it's pretty much able to hit anyone as long as they hear it. But at the same time, is the disadvantages worth it though? It's Twitch. Welcome. I'm going through the first chapter we got this month in June. We got 2 more chapters. But I just wonder, just how extensive can he make this ability go? And is there a way for him to figure out how to go past people and it's just simply covering up their ears. It doesn't mean that, when you cover up your ears, sure, things are quiet, but nothing is so perfectly quiet where you can't even hear anything on the outside. So I'm wondering, is there a possible way for him to work around people just simply covering up their ears? Because that's a significant disadvantage. I'm sorry, I'm spending way too much time on this. Let's continue. Of course, Scratchman notices that they cover up their ears, and he doesn't like that because it keeps him from actually using his power. If you hear it, there's no avoiding it. Watch out for sneak attacks. And of course, Luffy, Zoro, and Kid can't hear anything Killer is saying because they still got their hands on their ears running away. Now, of course, Killer doesn't need to worry about covering his ears because his helmet, I'm guessing, has, headphones on the inside, maybe something to cover up his ears, because you don't see him putting his hands on his ears. He's just running away with them. So his mask must have some insulation that keeps sound from getting in there or keeps him from being affected. Because they're all because he's pretty much running right next to him, and of the three, he doesn't cover his ears at all. So it has to be in his helmet. So as that's going on, Who's Who is watching all this go down, and he's saying, and he notices Luffy because they're all just arguing, because Luffy, Kid, and Zoro are all arguing downstairs while all this commotion is going on, and Who's all, so they escape from Udon. Apoo should use the move that removed Kizaru's hand from his body. See, that's the thing though. It only worked on Kizaru because Kizaru could hear it. His attack, all of his attacks, not just his boom attack, all of his attacks won't work if you can't hear it. I still think that's a significant drawback. Every attack that he has shown thus far in the entire show, in the entire manga, they only work when people can hear it. The only reason why it affected Kizaru, but it didn't injure him, was because Kizaru didn't know about Apoo's Devil Fruit power at the time. Nor did he know how it works, and the fact that Kizaru has perfect control over his Logia powers, which means that even if he was to get hit by Scratchman's attacks, it wouldn't affect him, as the event in Sabaody Archipelago was shown to us. Like, it didn't bother him at all. Dude literally had his upper torso blown up, and it just like, wow, okay, that happened. Gets back up and proceeds to one-shot everybody split seconds after. So it only worked. I think it's a much more useless power against Logia users when you think about it, because they can just make their bodies just go intangible. He should have used it before they knew about his power. Well, he did use it. It was Slash. Wait. No. It was Scratch that he used on Kizaru, and that cut off his hand. Slash was something different. And he did use it on them, but it wasn't enough to keep them down, though. And now that Killer has told him how it actually works, I don't think it's going to actually work on them anymore, since they know how to circumvent around it. But going forward, let me continue. We have Who's Who, and he's standing with his squad of cat people. We got 2 cat girls in cat suits, 1 big dude in like some sort of luchador-looking outfit, 1 guy that looks like he has like a cat head but a very hairy chest. It's a weird amalgamation. It really is. And then we have an old lady, I didn't say anything about this before, but there's just this random old lady just there, dressed up as a cat. With Who's crew. Just an old lady. Why? I don't know why. But I don't know. I will never understand the dynamics of the Beast Pirates. Just putting one's hands over their ears should not be an absolute counter to Scratchman's Apoo's ability. It's a bit too cut and dried. Exactly. If his power is affected by sound, even a little bit of sound that goes through your ears should still affect you if you hear it. Like, if you hear the boom through your hands, through your ears, then it should still affect you. But like I said, the way it's portrayed here just makes it seem like it's cut and dry. But that's just my opinion. Will you give chase? There's glory to be had. Forget them, just a few rats. Focus on finding Yamato reporting in. We'll do much better by finding him. Don't let Sasuke beat us. She might be his grandma. That'd be sweet. Who's Who is having his whole cat people crew, and he decides to keep his grandma on board just because she knows how to make good chocolate chip cookies. I've heard enough out of Queen. He wants to kill someone? Well, so do I. And then we have Big Mom inside of the pleasure hall. We'll get to that later. Old cat lady. Yo, that's what she is! She's an old cat lady! How did I... I didn't even bother to put 2 and 2 together. This has got to stay on me, because if I keep moving, it'll just slip off. But, it looks like Big Mom is in the pleasure hall. Mama, I've gotten in touch. Sounds like the ship is fine. They'll be arriving soon. That's strange. There are no sign of ships at the main port, Big Mom. Port? What do you mean, port? Huh? And as this is going on, we see all of the samurai teams. On the eastern side of Onigashima, Team Kinemon Eastern Forces. The enemy still has not heard of the samurai's approach. To take advantage of the situation, the plan evolves on the spot. Rather than sending all of the samurai to the rear entrance, they split into two groups at the halfway point of the path. Half of them peel off to infiltrate the Skull Dome from the side, where they will blend among the enemy and await the attack on Kaido. In this way, they plan to execute a pincer attack on Kaido and Orochi. Now, here's the thing about Orochi. The reason why Orochi is alive right now is because he had that barrier user back then. That was his main defense, and that was the only thing keeping Kozuki Oden from killing him. Now, since Bartolomeo is the current holder of the Berry no Mi, love the code, I'm still so jealous I want one. Well, I got mine from like a cosplay shop, and like I said, I bought like a Kizaru suit because I wanted to dress up as Kizaru. Like I even have like yellow tinted shades as well, but the suit came in and it was too small for me. Apparently the size that I thought I was too small. Apparently I'm a large and not a medium, because the size that I got, it was like high water pants, high water shirt, everything was tight except for this. This is a nice big coat, and it suits me just fine. I still got the suit sitting over there on the chair. But overall, it's a nice coat. It is a nice coat. It's good to walk around the house in. You just feel like justice. But, where are the shades? Hold on, let me see if I can... I know I put them somewhere. I kept them close. They might be... Where did I put them? I put them somewhere. Ah, here they are. All right, let me see how I look in this video. Really? These glasses? Now, they're not exactly yellow tinted, perfectly tinted, but I still feel like they're nice, though. I had these for a while, and I just feel like, maybe I should have got some more light tinted glasses and what have you. But, yeah, there we go. A little off topic, what happened to Caribou? We haven't seen him in a while. You walk around the house in that coat, and I can imagine the looks your family gives you, like, how are we related looks? Oh, no, there's a, like, you keep being you. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Like, there's times where I got, like, other cosplay stuff. Well, not really cosplay stuff, but a lot of other things, like a Sith robe and a Superman cape that I wore into my church's Hallelujah night. So I still got a couple of those. And a Stormtrooper outfit that I wore as well. So I got a couple of things. But let's go ahead and continue on with the chapter. So, back to what I was... Give me a sec. Alright, sorry about that, everyone. Just had to check for an additional power adapter. Family was asking for it. Let's see. Back to what I was saying about Orochi not having that protection. Reminds me a little of Django's shades from Django Unchained. A little bit, but these are kind of, I want to say, one of the stems on the side. They kind of make it easier for me. Even if I put my head down a little bit and move it too much, this will start to slide a little bit. But back to what I was saying about Orochi. back then he had the use of the previous user of the Berry no Mi, and that's what kept him. Sorry, I literally drew a blank. Is all well? Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Back then, Orochi had the protection of the previous user of the Berry no Mi, and that's the only thing that kept him alive when Odin came calling, because his wife Togi got shot in the leg, and he literally wanted to butcher everything that was associated with Orochi. So, since Orochi no longer has that type of protection anymore, there's little that can keep him from being harmed now. Because as far as I know, his Yamato no Orochi form doesn't necessarily offer him an increased level of durability. At least none that we've seen so far. And then even with Kaido there's no guarantee that Kaido's going to be like, okay, I'm going to protect you. That just doesn't seem like Kaido's that individual. Your computer is reflected off your glasses. Well, at least you can't make out the images, because I don't want to get copyrighted for, copyrighted images or anything like that. But that's perfectly alright. Then again, looking Admiral level clean. Well, thank you. Thank you, Collegio. It's good to see you here. But so Orochi really doesn't have that maximum level of protection from surprise attacks as he did once before, because if that was the case and he still had the Berry no Mi in his possession, then the pincer attack probably wouldn't work against Orochi. But given the fact that he doesn't have that level of protection, and I don't see Kaido going out of his way to say, hey, I'm going to protect you since we're working together, this pincer attack may actually work. But actually, how long have I been going? 27 minutes and I'm still on the first chapter. I am so sorry for taking so long. It's just like so many thoughts in my head and so many theories. I actually want to talk about something else a little bit later after I'm done with all these chapters concerning Awakened Logia Devil Fruits. I might do a video on it, but I kind of want to bring it to your guys' attention once we get done with everything here, if that's okay with you. But going on, it cuts to them getting to the Pleasure District. And of course, with Sanji there, he immediately just beelines for the Pleasure District. And everyone's wondering, okay, he's getting sucked in again. It's Sanji. We should not be surprised. But afterwards, Sanji comes out with the most defeated look on his face. And let me take these off. I like the shades, I really do, but it's harder for you guys to see my eye expressions underneath this. Sure, you see eyebrows, but the eyes, I prefer you guys see, everything. So it's not just, me reading, and you guys don't see where my eyes are moving or anything. So I'll switch it up every now and then, but for right now, no glasses. But Sanji comes out of there all defeated, and then they start making their ways across the bridge. And as that happens, they notice someone's opening the window, and they all decide to dive into the water, including Kinemon, who is a Devil Fruit user. So either he knows his weakness, or he just decided to take that chance and jump in, knowing he'd have his fellow samurai pull him out. But everyone dives, except for Chopper, who's in the Brachio tank, and he is met face to face with Big Mom, and she just looks at him. Then, the falls on the outside of Wano, and it shows the Charlotte children making their way back up the falls again. It's literally a running gag at this point. And it shows Pero, you haven't seen The Last of Us, King Perorin. Climb the falls! And as they're going up, you see Daifuku, you see Mondu, you see Smoothie, you see Flampe, which everyone universally claims to be the worst character, the most hated character in all of One Piece. Can you give us the people's eyebrow? Wait, is that the eyebrow that The Rock gives? I might... Hold on, let me see. Yep, that's the... Oh, okay, I knew it was the people's eyebrow. I don't know how much longer I can hold it. Oh, boy. But going back to it, it shows the Charlotte children heading up the falls. Sorry, I was looking at the playback. Heading up the falls, you see Daifuku, Manju, Smoothie, Flampe, and they're all just excited at the fact that, hey, we're about to get up to the falls! Orochi is a wimp who shouldn't exist. He only brags about having Kaido on his sight and can't probably fight. Possibly! We haven't seen him actually try and fight. At all. We just seen him go on a rampage, but it wasn't something akin to that of combat ability. It was just, you know, I'm mad because someone laughed at me. You know, something a child would do. He was just throwing a tantrum. Orochi is I don't know how old he is, aged kid. That's pretty much it, because he rules like a child. He revels when he has like a whole bunch of goodies and toys around him. Like he's an adult and he can be manipulative. But at the end of the day, he's just a child. He revels when he gets his way. He grows upset when he doesn't get his way. And he actually gets afraid when things that can actually do him harm are not hindered by his antics. So Orochi is just one big massive child with a massive country-sized playground. But he's not smart enough to know how to run it properly. He's running it into the ground, but he's not smart enough, nor competent enough, nor worthy to run Wano. So, when he eventually dies, because that is the only way the life of Kozuki Oden can officially be avenged, it's only by his death that Wano will really be free. Only by Orochi's death and Kaido's defeat. That is the only way Wano will be free. But the only way Oden will be avenged is if Orochi dies. Not imprisoned for all eternity, not forced out of Wano. He has to die. But I brought this up beforehand. But the Charlotte children are making their way up the falls. I'm sorry I'm taking too long. It's already 30 minutes and I haven't even gotten out of the first chapter yet. The children are making their way up to the Big Mom Pirates. I might as well stop calling them children because the only child on there is Flampe and everyone else is a grown adult. But the Big Mom Pirates are making their way up the falls, and they see something flying over it. And as soon as they get there, they immediately think, oh no, not again, it's King! And then Petals is struck with nothing but fear as he says, no, it's not him! As it turns out to be none other than Fusho Marco. Marco is in Wano, and he proceeds to use a move called Phoenix Brand and knock the Chanter, and I've been calling it Chantry all this time, the Chanter off the falls and knock them all the way back down again. This is literally Wano's biggest running gag, is the Big Mom Pirates keep trying to go up the falls and they keep getting knocked down by something. If it's not King, it's Marco. And who knows how long it's going to take them for them to get up the falls this time. But Marco is there. And he says, so the story about the Big Mom Pirates Alliance was true after all. The next time you show up, the times may have moved on a bit more than before. Don't know if I said it before, but that would be the perfect moment to show Marco's bounty. Good point. Former Whitebeard Pirates leader of the 1st Division, Marco the Phoenix. So he knocks the Chanter off, and they go right back down the falls. Marco says that by the time the Big Mom Pirates get back up the falls, everything is going to be different. So it possibly takes a while. Can 2 knockdowns be a running gag? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they turned it into a running gag in the anime. Though I figure it would have to happen at least 3, maybe 4 more times in order for it to be a running gag. But the fact that they just can't get up the falls and they keep getting knocked down, I'd say it's funny. But he's saying that the next time you show up, the times may have moved on a bit more than before. Fample or Charlos? Who do y'all hate more? Charlos. Because 1, he shot Hachi. and got the punch that was deserved. Not only that, but the fact that people don't like Charla so much that he even gets beat on by other Celestial Dragons. Miasgard, who I think is the only Celestial Dragon to actually behave with some humanity, yeah, he has my respect. Yeah, no treatment like unto some in a very recent video game will be given to Orochi. We hope. And just to let you, I forgot to tell you guys, I'm already done with my Last of Us playthrough. I'm just uploading the parts. Sorry, I meant to put that in a community post, but since you guys are here, I'm letting you guys know that I've already finished The Last of Us Part 2. It's done. I'm done with it. Probably not going to go back into it because there's really no reason to unless I want to really get the trophies, but I just don't feel a pull to play it again. I just played it once. It feels like a one and done series for me, just to be honest with you. But let me continue, because this is pretty much the end of chapter 981. And of course, before that ends, we see another ship going up the falls, and it has Nekomamushi and Izo, who are there. But we don't see Izo's face, and we don't see Nekomamushi's face in this. So that is chapter 981. Moving on to chapter 982. We still have Game Beige on My Family, and that's coming to a head, a really good head. Dofi's family died since when? Wait, Karma. The Doflamingo family had the right spirit. Okay, so Miasgard is Don Quixote. Is a Don Quixote. Homing is a Don Quixote, Doflamingo is a Don Quixote, Rocinante is a Don Quixote, and his mother is a Don Quixote. But because when Miasgard smacked St. Charlos back during the Reverie, the other world nobles was all like, that Don Quixote family was always had major problems due to the fact that, some members don't treat others like trash. Just so I can make sure that, yep, Don Quixote Miasgard. So during the time when I hear about his family, I think of his officers. Oh yeah, you good. Let me go back to the page here. But yeah, so I feel like the Don Quixote family as a whole, they're really considered the black sheeps of the Celestial Dragons. Even Miasgard, even though he hasn't renounced the title, he's still a world noble, but he's still able to use his power to, do good, because as soon as he saw that King Neptune and the family were there, he said, I've been waiting for you for a while. Whatever help I can be, please, I want to. So you don't see world nobles offering help at all. So as you can see, the Don Quixote family is really the odd man out when it comes to the world nobles themselves. But yeah. Going into chapter 982, everyone is having a good time, and while everyone else is out looking for Yamato, Black Maria is sticking around because she wants to stick around Kaido. Hey, Black Maria, what happened to your mission? Oh, what's the harm, Supreme Commander? They can handle the search just fine without me. And she just on him, just like, just chilling up on his arm, just like, I get to be with this big, strong man. And she's as big as he is, because she's knelt down right beside him, and she's as tall as Kaido. And of course, he's just enjoying everything. He's drinking, and he's chilling out with Orochi. Because this is the moment where they also find out that their plan to stop the samurai has failed. And Orochi's just enjoying himself. Okay, so let me just read through this panel here. Whoa. Very well. It's our one chance a year to party and mingle. Isn't that right, Orochi? The best day of the year. And then you have Orochi.
Indeed, Kaido. It's especially worth celebrating because at long last, the ghosts of Kozuki that have haunted me for 20 years are gone. Soon Kanjuro will arrive. Now that his 20-year acting role is finished, he should be with the captains of the battleships that sank the Akazaya samurai under the waves. That's very impressive, and I could have easily killed him without realizing it. It's too bad, though. If a man who was so utterly trusted claims that Oden never told him anything, then it would seem that he gave no hints to his samurai about getting to Laugh Tale.
And then, yeah, actually, Oden pretty much kept his adventures with Roger a secret because he didn't explain to them anything about that. Because he never told them what Laugh Tale was or where it is. So even with his most trusted consorts around him, he never divulged any information when it came to the big last final voyage of Roger. So it goes to show you how much he respected Roger. But also, it's a good thing that he didn't say anything to the samurai, because otherwise Kaido and them would know where Laugh Tale is, and then this manga would be cut short, wouldn't it? Homing's heart was in the right place. He just should have kept his mouth shut about being a noble. That's the thing. Sometimes good intentions lead to bad consequences. Like, take what I'm doing, for instance. I want to be able to entertain people all the time. Yet, people will find the way I go about it to be stupid and unnecessary. The voices that I do, the theatrics that I tend to do, or my volume, or a number of different things people won't like about it. It doesn't matter how good your intentions are. There's always going to be individuals who second guess it. And, you know, if they've been burned before, then they kind of see it as like, okay, maybe there's an ulterior motive here. Something along those lines. Because as soon as he told the regular people that he used to be a world noble, all they heard was he was a noble. Not that he used to be a noble. They just heard he was a noble. He is a noble. All they heard was world noble and that he was one. But they just still see him as a world noble because the atrocities that they caused are so far-reaching and so deep that it doesn't matter if you stop being a world noble. The world will still see you that way. And if anyone has ever interacted with them, then, yeah, animosity lasts a long time. Your voices are great, definitely draws you in more than just reading it normally. Well, I would like to think that I'd set myself apart from other people. But, like I said, doesn't matter how good intentions someone may see. It doesn't matter how good the intentions are that someone may think they're going towards. Some other people may see it as unnecessary and stupid. Regardless, just as it doesn't matter how much good intentions Homing had with saying that he used to be a world noble and he just wants to live among the common people, people will still feel some type of way due to how the world nobles have treated everybody overall. Doesn't matter how good it may seem, there's always going to be individuals who see it as, oh, he used to be a world noble. I hate the world nobles. Therefore, I hate him. Without even, thinking outside the box. Maybe Black Maria is also aiming for a better position in Kaido's organization too, just in her own way, in addition to probably having an actual attraction to Kaido himself. Well, with the way she's leaning up on him and the fact that there's hearts wherever when all of her speech bubbles when she's speaking to Kaido, I would like to think that she's trying to move up in the world as well, but I would not be surprised if she actually has a thing for Kaido. Wouldn't surprise me at all. That's one way to get you in a certain position. But while Orochi and Kaido are talking, they're interrupted by Kanjuro, who cuts down some beast pirates because, no one told any of the beast pirates that Kanjuro was working for Orochi, and therefore you should let him through. Kanjuro pretty much at this point has just been cutting down beast pirates because they don't know who he works for.
Pardon the disturbance. I have business with Lord Orochi. Ah, there you are, Kanjuro. Stop it, you fools. This is Orochi's man. It has been a very long time since we last met, Lord Orochi. This mansion is so large, I got a bit lost. Everyone who took me for an enemy and attacked met an untimely end by my weapon. My apologies. Hey, what's that in your other hand? As you requested, it is Kozuki Momonosuke, the son of Odin. And Kaido just looks on, and during the course of him making his way to Orochi, Momonosuke was literally beaten senseless by Kanjuro. And it's only because that Momonosuke tried to cut himself free using the knife from a couple of chapters ago. And as this is going on, Kaido looks over at him and says, I'm stunned. I do remember you. You were one of the Akazaya 9, and I remember you very well. And he looks at Kanjuro saying this first, and then he looks at Momonosuke. You look exactly the way you did when I was disappointed in you as the son of Odin. Yes, he is nothing but a little brat. A brat entirely unfit for the greatness of his name. Oh, the poor little boy, you've beaten him bloody. And, just to get a sense of scale of how big Black Maria is compared to normal people, Momonosuke is literally the size of a Funko Pop in her hands. Because you can barely make out his shape when she's holding him. Look at, take for instance, like a small Funko Pop. Smaller than normal. And it's in the palm of your hand. That's how big Momonosuke is compared to Black Maria. And that is how big she is compared to normal people. Even in this same panel, there's a lady bringing Kaido another giant bottle of sake, and the bottle of sake is as big as the woman herself. And in comparison to Black Maria is essentially 5 times her size. Just making sure the stream is going fine still. Because it's hard to tell sometimes. But it's all good. And, well done, my good man. Let us raise a toast to Kanjuro. No, Lord Orochi. You failed to stop their operation! Does Maria have legs? We have yet to see them. We see her standing up, but her gown covers her feet. So, we don't know what her feet look like. I'm pretty sure there's some people out there that really want to know what her feet look like, but we currently don't see it in any of the chapters. At least not yet. But that was your information! I'm sorry, my lord. I've been around Kinemon for many years, but I've never known him to be so thorough. That's not the case. Kinemon had no idea what was going on. So their fleet is coming here to Onigashima? And then Fukurokuju just pops in, flash steps, because, he's been all over to the Bleach world. There's no reason yet to fear, Shogun Orochi. There's not a single ship to be seen at the dock, but the trio of battleships we sent out have not yet returned, and 4 pirates have been sighted on the performance floor outside. Straw Hat Luffy, Pirate Hunter Zoro, Eustace Captain Kidd, and Murderer Machine Killer. It's quite likely that all the members of these pirate crews have already disembarked upon the island. Why didn't you report that? Master Queen was handling the situation. I thought it better not to disturb the feast. And there are no witness reports of suspicious samurai around. Hey, Kohagen, what's going on? In any case, our entire concentrated might is here on Onigashima. Nothing can possibly happen here that will put us in danger. And then Kaido just starts laughing. That's right, drink up, Orochi. Let me pour, my lord. Because, Black Maria is just, chilling. Can we also acknowledge the fact that in the way she has her geisha hairstyle made up,
The pin, she has like regular pins, well, regular for her size, and also swords in her hair as well. Like actual swords, or just, tying up her hair. Forgot to mention that a couple of chapters ago whenever we saw her. But as the drink is being poured, Orochi cannot remain still because of one thing that filled him with utter dread is now they're on Onigashima. He doesn't even know they're on Onigashima. But he fears the fact that they've made it past every attempt to be stopped, and now they're coming after him. So, you know what I said about him being a little kid? He's like that child that did something wrong, and the parent says, like, don't you move, I'm gonna get my belt. And he's just shaking with fear. He doesn't know what to do. He feels nothing else but utter fear over what's coming to him. I know that feeling because I had those moments when I was a kid. It only took me a couple, and it only took me a couple of times to get the picture. Get in trouble, you get a whooping. Don't get in trouble no more. And I would like to think that I haven't given my parents any trouble since. But as this is going on, he snatches Momonosuke out of Black Maria's hands, with the intent to crucify him on the stage.
I will kill the last surviving Kozuki here, and bring their history to its miserable end, and then this whole ordeal is behind me.
Because, he has that crazy laugh. At sea, near Onigashima.
Is that you, Cat? You're late. Did you just get here?
Yep, we just climbed the falls. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what date and time it is?
The night of the fire festival, the big battle. Just in time for the action, right?
That will depend on you, Gara. We are already heading to the northmost point of Onigashima.
Gotcha, see you there.
No! Hey, wait! Cat!
And of course that's going on, and you have Kawamatsu, Kiku, Nojo, and Shutenmaru along with Law inside of Law's sub. I forget the name of the sub, but they're all underwater right now.
Because of the twisting currents, a typical ship can only approach the island from the entrance. Let's hope that Kinemon and Denjiro have made their way around to the rear as planned.
And of course that's Raizo speaking.
I wish for us all to be there so we can fulfill Lord Odin's desire together. Just be safe until then, Lord Momonosuke.
And of course, we're out on the ocean right now. And it is Marco chilling with Nekomamushi's guardians, and along with Izo as well.
Go figure that we showed up at the same time. What was the point of me asking you to send a message to Straw Hat Luffy then?
No kidding. Guess I'll toss out this note then.
You mean the guy who wrecked up Zoe was just an officer? We're in for a big fight. Crucifying a child, that's just morbid. Yeah, it is. But then we do know that the person we're dealing with is a depraved idiot that has no idea how to run an entire country and only gained the position he did through manipulation and backstabbing. Not actual effort. He required the help of someone utterly powerful in order for him to get what he wanted. So let that sink in that Orochi wouldn't have been able to make it this far on his own. The fact that he needed help just shows you that he's unfit. Kozuki Oden was able to bring the entire country together just by his own efforts alone. And even then, people still considered him an idiot for half the stuff that he did. But when you get the idea that crucifying a child is going to clear you of all, is going to make things better for you, you got another thing coming. Because firstly, that kid got friends. Powerful friends. But Marco is chilling with Nekomamushi on his ship, and Izo's there, but we don't see Izo.
I'm surprised you got involved, Marco. Look, I love Odin, but word from Wano doesn't travel out of the country. I never thought things had gotten this bad.
Because it has been a great number of years since they... Wait, have they ever been to Wano? Yes, they've been to Wano. They've been to Wano because they had to take Toki back to Wano as well, with Hiyori and Momonosuke. So they've been to Wano, but they didn't know that things like this were going on because Wano has been literally closed off ever since those 30 years ago.
Then let's hurry, I got a genius plan in mind.
And of course, the note that was supposed to be given to Luffy says, I might be late, but I'll be there, Marco. So the fact that he's already there now and you don't need to worry about a note just makes things better. Then we have Team Denjiro and the Southern Forces. Marco has my favorite Devil Fruit power. It is literally, I know I said this before, but his Devil Fruit ability is quite possibly the most overcharged and overpowered. He literally has the ability of all three categories of Devil Fruits, Paramecia, Zoan, and Logia, all in one. And he also has the additional ability to fly, which circumvents his the possibility of him ever falling into the water. Kizaru has mine. I love Kizaru's. But then I'm also kind of partial to Fujitoto's Ushi Ushi no Mi. His gravity fruit. His grav fruit. Actually, what is it called? Hold on. I need to get the name of it correctly real quick, and then we'll continue on. I gotta focus so I can get this last chapter down. Then we'll continue to talk a little bit afterwards. That it is not called the Ushi Ushi no Mi. That is the horse fruit. Wow, how did I get that confused? What was it called? Ah, Zushi no Mi. Not Ushi Ushi. Zushi. There we go. Is Marco immortal? It is yet to be confirmed if, with him being a phoenix, does that mean that he can actively... Sorry, it was skipping a little bit. I wanted to make sure that everything is running fine. I'll look up things later because I don't want the web pages to affect anything. I think loading pages cause it to skip a little bit. Anel's fruit is lit too. Marco has the best Zoan fruit. But we don't know if his Devil Fruit ability makes him immortal. Like, if he were to die, does he just rise from the ashes and come back? Because that would just be another Devil Fruit that falls in the same line as Brook's Devil Fruit, which only activates when a person dies. So we have yet to see the full extent of Marco's ability. I mean, here in Wano is the first time we're actually getting a name for one of his attacks. And we don't know the ins and outs of it because it hasn't been explained. It's only been, explained through what we've seen and what we know of what we know from like Marineford and pretty much here in Wano. We just know that much, but we don't know the ins and outs of it. Still waiting on Vegapunk to explain it to us. But getting to Team Denjiro's team, what time is it right now? 58 minutes. I'm almost an hour in, and I haven't even gotten out of the second chapter. I got to speed this up, not keep you guys too long. So Denjiro's on the Southern Forces, and they meet up with Sasaki, and of course Sasaki knows him, asking, I heard you weren't coming this year. Yes, keep it a secret. And then it shows Animal Kingdom Pirates, Tobiropo, Sasaki, and they immediately chain him to a tree and they gag him as Denjiro shows the symbol of the Kozuki clan on his back. The fact that one of the Tobiropo, who are supposed to be directly under the Calamities, the lead performers, the fact that they managed to tie one to a tree so effortlessly, it just makes me wonder about his strength. Like, he's a fish man, and what you can kind of take away from his face, but he looks like a fish man who should have like ample strength, yet at the same time he just straight up gets chained to a wall so effortlessly, and they all just move on. With one of the dangerous Tobiropo out of the way, the Southern Forces split in two like the Eastern to bring themselves closer to Kaido. So as this is going on, Denjiro and Kinemon are just slowly but surely converging on where Kaido and Orochi are. Back at where Team Kinemon's Eastern Forces are, Chopper and Usopp are backpedaling away from Big Mom because she's straight up chasing after them, and apparently the tank rounds are doing nothing to her because she's got scuff marks over her body and her face, and it has done nothing to keep her from chasing after them. And of course, we see Kinemon being pulled out of the water by people who are around him, and they all start running in the opposite direction in order to continue on with their plan. Carrot, Shinobu, and Nami run into the pleasure hall where they run into Prometheus, and that's when Prometheus notices them, and Prometheus screams out loud that it's the woman who kidnapped Zeus, Mama! Isn't Blackbeard a Logia? Yes, but he's a special type of Logia. He's the only Logia type that we've seen that cannot transform into the element that he can create. He can absorb attacks, but he can't make himself intangible. But the big takeaway from this is the fact that he can also cancel Devil Fruit powers, which is pretty much what makes him a special Logia. He's the only Logia that can't go intangible, but he can absorb attacks, but he just can't let them pass through him effortlessly. That's the only drawback of the Yami Yami no Mi. And of course, Prometheus starts chasing after them. And back inside Kaido's castle, we see Ulti and Page One running around, being random. Ulti jumps on top of Page One's back, and she proceeds to literally ride him down the stairs. Like, you know how you ever see those videos on YouTube? People take a bed mattress and they just slide downstairs with it. Yeah, Ulti just did the same thing with Page One. Oh, yeah, I forgot. He does have two Devil Fruits, a Logia and a Paramecia type. One that is basically made to combat Devil Fruit users, and another one that has the power to literally destroy everything. And as he said, with those two powers, it literally makes him invincible, because it makes him literally the anti-Devil Fruit user, because of his ability to touch Devil Fruit users and they all lose their power. Literally their power. Not even Luffy can't even. The difference between Blackbeard's Yami Yami no Mi nullification and that of Sea Prism Stone is, with Sea Prism Stone, a Devil Fruit user can touch it and it only keeps them from using their powers, but it doesn't negate the effect it has on their body. Case in point, when Luffy was in Arlong Park, where he used his Gum Gun Windmill, or whatever it's called, or Pinwheel, to like stomp into the ground and then just swing that big sea cow around, and he then got thrown into the water didn't keep him from being rubber. It just kept him from using his powers, because the way they kept him alive is they stretched his neck underwater in order for Sanji to break him out later. So Sea Prism Stone and the sea itself only has the effect of literally making a Devil Fruit user completely motionless and useless in water and weak. Whereas Blackbeard's ability just makes it so where they never had any powers at all. So if they're a Logia user, such as the case with Ace, who are so used to letting attacks pass through them, getting attacked by an individual without the ability to go intangible would be a surprise and something they're not used to. Can Aokiji become intangible because ice is hard and physical? Well, I wouldn't say he can become intangible and just let attacks go through him. I mean, he can in a way. Because if you remember when Luffy landed in front of all the admirals in Marineford, and he jumped up in the air, and he launched the giant post at them, Aokiji froze it, and he threw it back at him, and then Luffy proceeded to, Gum stamp it, or jet stamp it, all back at him. Akainu, the pieces burned when it touched him. Kizaru, it passed through him with, light refractions, and then with Aokiji, it just passed through him. So I would say that, yeah, he can become intangible, because there was a moment where he was actually stabbed through the chest by Whitebeard's Basento, and it didn't affect him any. Though one could think that he just opened up a hole in his chest so that the Basento could go through him and not affect him at all. But with Aokiji, he has the advantage of being able to overcome his weakness of the sea by just freezing the waters he's on. That's how he gets around on the sea. He just uses his power to form like a trail of ice underneath him, and he just rides his bike over it. So one of the few people in the world that can overcome the weakness of the sea and, get around that way. But Aokiji, he can become intangible, just not in the way that Kizaru or Akainu can. It's more like the parts that hits him breaks off in like ice chunks, rather than it just, like go through him and then it just passes through him like say a bullet or something like that. It just comes off in chunks, I guess. But it doesn't really show that in the anime or the show, but he can become intangible as well. But Ulti just slides down the stairs using Page One's face, and she lands right in front of Luffy, and they both look at each other and says, "Who are you?" "No, who are you?" So a pretty good chapter leading up to a confrontation in the next chapter, the last chapter we get for this month. Almost done. Whew. Need to get me some water after this. So chapter 983, Thunder. Going into that, we see the sea Awano, the climbing koi waterfall, and the sea atop it, we see that Petals so far is the only one of the Big Mom pirates to make it to the top of the falls using one of his candy sea slugs, making his way to Onigashima. And he does not like the idea that the Big Mom pirates are joining up with the Beast pirates. He doesn't take it seriously and thinks that only the Big Mom pirates will reign supreme. Ice can have different densities, including slush. Okay, so that's one way he avoids that he can become intangible. He just slushes the parts of the bodies that has the attacks go through. So it's not just strictly, thank you CJ, it's not just strictly his body is like frozen hard all the time. He can just change the density of his body. Just not that akin to snow, because that's Yuki Yuki no Mi. That's a lower tier ice ability. So, yeah, just like CJ said, he can alter his state from like frozen ice to slush, which would allow attacks to go through him that way. But Petals doesn't take the alliance between Big Mom and Kaido seriously and thinks that the Big Mom pirates will reign supreme overall. So, they cutting to the pleasure hall on the mountain path in Onigashima, Usopp and Chopper have lost track of Big Mom and start to go into where Nami and the rest of the crew are. Everyone here is so smart. I'm so jealous. Oh, you're smart too, Grant. Don't sell yourself short. You're just as smart as the rest of us. A lot of y'all are smarter than me. I know that much because y'all be reminding me of stuff that I forget. So, if anyone should be saying y'all are smart, it would be me. But Chopper and Usopp are searching for them. Yeah, I'm sure the girls will figure out something out too, plus Sanji's with them. Inside the pleasure hall, we have Nami and the rest of them running away from Big Mom because Prometheus is following them and letting Big Mom know exactly where they are. And Zeus is out. He was shaking inside of the magic climb attack, of Nami's magic climb attack. And now he's out and he's sweating because I don't know what's going to happen when he faces Big Mom after all this time because Nami stole him. So who knows what's going to happen. And of course Sanji snuck his way into... Wait, hold on. You said you spotted Sanji earlier? Yes, but and I'm not giving up on finding ladies. Why did he even come? So Sanji's out somewhere looking for ladies. He's not even with Shinobu, Carrot, Nami, and Zeus. He's just off looking for other ladies in the pleasure hall. Like, this man has got his priorities wrong. But as they're running through the halls, Big Mom is using her soul ability to bring a lot of the objects inside of the building to life in order to, help her find Nami and the rest of them. Can you imagine? You're in a dark pleasure hall where there are so many different things there, so many inanimate objects, and Big Mom just comes around the corner, and you see just nothing but chairs and tables with eyes, and bottles, and shoes, and umbrellas, and clogs, and different objects you would not normally see moving they all just look around the corner and they all just start to bum rush you. That sounds like a creepypasta story if I ever saw it. And Big Mom is just walking, her eyes cast in shadow, yet you see her face cast in shadow, yet her eyes are glowing as she stares at you because she knows you're the one who stole her other, super-powered homie Zeus. And she's just walking while the rest of the objects are just barreling towards you. I gotta feel like that's the kind of situation that they're running in, because it doesn't look like, even if there was lights in on the building, it'd still be creepy to see objects that are normally not supposed to move, with eyes and mouths, fully animated, fully conscious of what they're doing, trying to run after you. That really has to be a scary thought when you think about it. So going back to the performance floor in the Skull Dome, Momonosuke has pretty much been put up on display on the performance floor. He's literally on an X-crossed crucifix. And Orochi is preparing to pretty much kill him at some point. Then there's Zoro inside the castle fighting off some bug-themed gifters. And then you have Kid facing off against some animal four-legged type gifters, wolf focus gifters. Lots of different gifters surrounded. He wouldn't be Sanji if he wasn't a simp. Pretty much. As much as we in real life just shake our heads at Sim Smoke Sanji. That's gonna stick. But all these different gifters are facing off against Zoro and Kid, and then it cuts to where Luffy and Ulti are, and Ulti's checking on page 1, saying, "Are you alright? You just gotta hang in there." And then she's looking at Luffy saying, "How dare you do this to poor Pei-Pei?" But Luffy's all like, "You're the one who used him to ski down the stairs." And in the background, you can see the entire indention broken staircase where Ulti used page 1 as her own personal slide and broke every single stair going down. "Name yourself. What unit are you with? Who's your commanding officer? What's your operating number?" "No, lady. He's an intruder. I'm Luffy, the man who will be king of the pirates." "Huh?" And of course, since she has great respect for Kaido and yet at the same time no respect for Kaido, she gets mad at the fact that someone other than Kaido says that he wants to be king of the pirates. Does he know whose castle he's invading? And she jumps up in the air, rears her head back, and uses a move called Ulti Meteor and headbutts Luffy. They both use armament haki, and it causes an armament haki clash with the representative lightning and everything. And she just straight up headbutts him. And in the next panel here, you can see the darkness on their foreheads, which is where they're focusing their haki so they can headbutt one another. And it has enough force to cause like a in-place explosion. And of course, it launches everyone around back. Ulti reminds you of your niece, blames someone else for what she does, and acts like a child. Oh boy, that must be interesting to see happen on a regular basis sometimes. Whenever if you visit her sometimes. But the force of the headbutt has enough force to cause an explosion and launch all the beast pirates that were surrounding Luffy at the time back away, like into the floor, into walls. And then page 1 says, "Hey sis, I know." Huh? And then Ulti starts to transform into her dinosaur form, which we know and be confirmed to be a Pachycephalosaurus, the big bone-headed dinosaur that you see in Jurassic Park that likes to ram into people. And then page 1 transforms into a Spinosaurus form. And then Ulti says, "Stop squalling. It's because we've confirmed that this one is a dangerous foe." "Are you kidding? You split his skull open. He's dead." "Then where is that haki coming from?" Which shows you that she has observation haki, because only people with observation haki can sense the haki of another person. So she has observation haki, she has use of observation haki and armament haki. Whew, you rang my bell. I guess I underestimated you. Gotta be smarter. This is an emperor's castle. And he jumps over at Ulti, jumps over her head, and proceeds to slam her square into the ground. Of course, the force of that attack. She's Cranidos from Pokemon? Pretty much! The force of the attack launches him towards Page 1, who attempts to bite into Luffy. Luffy then just flash steps from above Page 1, appears right below him, and then Gum Gum Elephant guns him straight into the chin and just knocks him out. Of course, he gets grabbed by Ulti, who is strong and pins him against the wall. And she's strong enough to say that her power's too strong, and she's prepared to use a move called Ulti Meteor, and then he says, uh-oh, Gear 4th. Now, at the time, and let me say this real quick, at the time, wait, how dark does it look in my room? Is it the volume, okay, so I was just checking to make sure that the brightness in my room was okay. I was going to open up a window, but, open up my blinds, but at the time of me reading this chapter, I was thinking, what? She's strong enough to warn him going to Gear 4th? And then another thought came to mind. His arms are pinned down. So how would he be able to go into Gear 4th? And then I realized that much earlier on, when Kid, Luffy, and Law used their powers to destroy one of the battleships out at sea, we didn't see Luffy go through his preliminary muscle balloon infusion in order to go to Gear 4th. He was just in it. Now, I don't know if that means that he did it off screen, or if he's learned how to go into Gear 4th without having to go through the initial muscle balloon startup. Which leads me to believe from this one panel that he's actually, on the fly, figured out a way how to go into Gear 4th without actually having to do that initial setup. Because otherwise, why would he say Gear 4th if both of his arms are bound? Like, literally, he wouldn't, even if he wanted to, he wouldn't be able to stretch his arms, like, around, because he would have to do it right in front of him. And it's not like, he's not Mr. Fantastic. He cannot control how long he keeps his arms stretched out or manipulate how slowly or fast there is. It's just, it's literally like stretchy snapback type gummy. It's not like Mr. Fantastic, malleable, and do whatever you want to type stretching. So with him being pinned down like this and him saying like he wants to go Gear 4, like, uh-oh, Gear 4, it leads me to believe that he may have figured out a way how to go into Gear 4th without actually having to do the initial muscle balloon startup, which means that just like he learned how to use Gear 2nd without going through the initial leg pumping startup, he might have found a shortcut way to go into Gear 4th without having to do the initial muscle balloon startup. But that's just my opinion. But before Ulti can use another move called Ulti Meteor, she gets Thunder Bagua Raime Hakkade right out of consciousness by an individual wearing an Oni mask, and apparently he has a beard, a goatee as well. I didn't notice that, but he actually has a beard, so he must be a lot older than I originally thought. But Ulti gets KO'd by some person in an Oni mask, and it turns out to be none other than the person that all the Tobiropo are looking for. Master Yamato, the son of Kaido himself, comes in, knocks out Ulti, picks up Luffy, and then just starts running off. Now, of course, that just shows you he's twice Luffy's size. And it shows you just how strong he is. Not only is he able to carry Luffy with one hand effortlessly, and also carry his weapon as well. Well, actually, that's on his back. I think the goatee beard is part of Yamato's mask. You know what? You may be right. Yeah, you're right. I originally thought that it might have been his goatee, but it might have just been part of the mask. But he has a studded kanabo where his father has a spiked one. We all see what happens when he used that spiked one. I mean, we saw both the chapter and that episode. Beautiful both. But Yamato picks up Luffy and just scoops him up and just starts running off. And then he starts speaking to him, saying,
Strawhead Luffy. That's you, isn't it?
Seize him! Oh, pardon me, I mean you no harm. True, I don't sense any hostility from you. As you know, Luffy is an expert at sensing the intent of others, such as hostility or whatever type of emotions, because that's how he reads people. And there's absolutely no hostility towards Luffy whatsoever as they're running off.
I've been waiting for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only.
But seriously,
I've been waiting for you. Waiting for a very long time. My name is Yamato. I'm Kaido's son.
huh? So it leads to theories about why Yamato has searched for Luffy. Actually, hold on. That goatee situation I was just talking about, I think part of the Oni mask is a goatee, but underneath the mask, there's an actual goatee under there. If you go to pages, I want to say 17, one part of the mask is a goatee, and then underneath the mask is an even longer goatee. So I want to say that it's actually a goatee under there because it's actually moving while he's running in this one panel. It's not just staying static. It's actually moving with the trail of with the wind while he's running. So it leads to reason. What is the reason that Yamato has been waiting for Luffy? Who is Yamato? What does he look like underneath the mask? Heard a theory that the body of Odin, that's the body of Odin, which is technically impossible. I don't see how. Because one, Kozuki Odin is dead, and two, there's no way to bring a person back to life unless they have the power of a devil fruit, and Kozuki Odin never used one, nor did he have one. And I highly doubt it has anything to do with Gecko Moria because of, Kaido killing his entire crew and him running off to Thriller Bark. So I don't think it's Odin's body. I highly doubt it. I want to see Yamato use his wood style of... Wait, wrong anime, sorry. Wood style! Great forest! Deep forest emergence! Sorry, I kind of got it. I got my wood style jutsus mixed up. Luffy can sense hostility. Reminds me of Gon from Hunter x Hunter. Okay, so there are a lot of theories about who Yamato could be underneath. What purpose does he require Luffy for, and why has he been waiting on him? There's a lot of questions that I'm wondering myself. Like, just how strong is he? Sure, he knocked out Ulti effortlessly, though he used it with a two-handed grip versus his father's classic one-handed grip. So it's apparent that he's taken some cues from his father, but at the same time, we still don't know the full relationship between Kaido and Yamato. We know that he didn't want to be part of the festivities. So apparently whatever that special announcement that's going to be made during this entire festival did not set well with Yamato. So he ran away, and apparently he's been waiting for Luffy for a long time. But why would he be waiting for Luffy for so long? There are so many theories that one could point to. Like, maybe he sees Luffy as the one to take down his father, or maybe help him get away from his father. Don't know. How does he know who Luffy is? Questions. So many questions that we could spend all day talking about. But I kind of don't want to because it's already getting close to like an hour, 30 minutes. I should have been done already by now. But let me go ahead and say this if I don't get to it later. All these chapters were good. Chapter 1, chapter 982 was by far the weakest chapter of all three. Now, mind you, all of them were good, but chapter 982 was by far the weakest one. Like, sure, it had some good moments in there, but it wasn't just, like, mind-blowing, where the first chapter we got this month was the return of Marco. And the last chapter we got this month was the introduction of Kaido's son. Both really big moments that got me out of my seat. Whereas chapter 982, it didn't move me that way. So it was just a setup chapter for this last one that we got, where we finally got introduced to Kaido's son. Maybe Yamato had a connection with Ace. you gotta really think about the fact that Ace has been connected with a lot of people that Luffy has been running into. Ace has been connected to Tama, and Luffy's now connected to Tama. So I wouldn't be surprised if Yamato has a connection to Ace as well. Like when Ace was in Wano, he may have come across, he may have come across Yamato during his travels while he was there until the moment where he left out. He doesn't want to marry anyone. We'll take that back when he sees Smoothie. Yamato got to marry one of Big Mom's daughters. I don't think that's going to be the reason. Then again, I don't put past anything for the story anymore when it comes to surprises about why people are getting together or why alliances are being formed or what are the stipulations for an alliance. If it's a marriage, it might not involve Big Mom. Orochimaru sent soldiers after Hiyori. Orochi sent soldiers after Hiyori. It's possible that Kaido might take power marrying his son to Hiyori. It would fit because then he kind of already has access to Wano already. So what would marrying one of the people who pretty much have access to the throne and the official title to the throne and all that Wano has to offer, when he already has it thanks to Orochi's machinations. So he really doesn't need to marry Yamato over to get whatever Wano has, because he kind of already has it right now with Orochi ruling. It's possible that Yamato is 20 to 25 years old and was a fan of the legend of Kozuki Oden. Possibly. But we would have to see we'd have to see in the next chapter. Hopefully the next chapter gives us more. I think Hiyori will save Momo. I wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised if she learns some swordsmanship as well, so she can use it Ame no Habakiri. Or is that the one that Momonosuke is using? Because she had Enma, and she gave that to Zoro. We definitely don't know where the story is going. I'm just interested in understanding if Yamato knows stuff related to the Void Sentry and Joy Boy, and if that is the reason he was waiting for Luffy. Right, because there was a prophecy saying how there was going to be another child born much later in the years. And I think she can throw hands, use swords, or whatever. Yamato must be really strong if he can use Thunderburger. That's the new name of it now. Thunderburger! That could imply that Kaido himself trained him. I did say that what if Kaido's son was really strong and he just one-shots one of the Tobiropo, but it remains to be seen if Yamato is equal in strength to Katakuri. Because out of everyone we've seen serving a Yonko, Katakuri is at the top of the strongest person that we've seen Luffy face. So I would like to believe that Yamato is very strong in his own right, but we just have to see how he is in a big fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Yamato just joins the fight against Kaido, but we have to see why he's looking for Luffy for so long. So we'll just have to deal with that. But let me go ahead and just give my whole consensus over all these chapters. I know I started a little bit, but overall these chapters were good. Especially the first and last chapters that we got for this entire month. And I'm looking forward to finding out what July is going to bring us. Can you guys imagine? After today, we're already at the halfway point of this year. We literally have 6 more months of this year left. So much left in the world. We got Cyberpunk 2077. We got the Marvel Avengers game. Still need to see more of that in order for me to get a consensus of whether I'm going to actually play it or not. I'm kind of getting tired of online live service games. I really am, because what if I don't have internet, or what if my internet goes out and then I can't play it at all because I gotta be connected to the internet. But so much going on this year, and just sure, there's going to be more breaks of One Piece. But I think this might be the most interesting year for One Piece. Entering into the new decade of 2020, I feel like this is going to be the start of some very interesting events. Now I'm thinking about what would be in or on a Thunderburger. I read a translation that called it Thunderclap, and I always liked that one. I think it's called Thunderclap. Hold on, let me bring up another page. I think the literal meaning for it is thunderclap. Where are you? Where are you? Literal Raime Hake, literally meaning thunderclap 8 trigrams. So it literally does mean thunderclap if you don't include the 8 trigrams part. In the Viz manga, it's called Thunder Bagua, and yeah. So yeah, it literally does mean that. It just adds on 8 trigrams at the end. But that's the end of all the chapters that we get, and we don't get one until this upcoming Sunday. So that means I can go ahead and close out these windows because we are done reviewing all of these chapters. So, honestly, what have I seen the new episode of One Piece? Episode 930? Yes, I have. I've already done my reaction to it. It's good to be doing One Piece episode reactions once again. 8 trigrams, 64 palms. 8 trigrams, 1 palm. With a weapon. 8 trigrams, 64... Huh. I think with Kaido, you would call it 8 trigrams, 64 tons, because that's how much force he's hitting you with when he hits you. But, what did you guys think of all these chapters? All 3 of these chapters. What did you guys think of them as a whole? Because now's the time where I just talk to you guys for just a little bit. It's 1:30. I'm just going to talk for a little bit, see what your opinions on them are, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about this idea I have about awakened Logia fruits that I kind of been having on my mind for the past couple of days. I'll just talk a little bit about it because I may do an actual video on it later sometime this week. But I just want to know what you guys thought of these chapters, all 3 of these chapters as a whole. Were all good chapters. Bagua does mean the 8 trigrams, which are the fundamental things of Taoist cosmology, or whatever. Would you like that, Thunder Fries? I kind of don't like Queen's voice. Big fan of Ulti's dinosaur. Still got my fingers crossed for an Ankylosaurus. Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if one of the numbers or another one of the Toby Roppo can turn into an Ankylosaurus. 983 was great. I love Luffy versus 2 Toby Roppo. He managed to take down Page 1, and then Yamato took down Ulti. So that's pretty much 2 Toby Roppo out of commission right now. Sasaki is bound in one section of the castle, and he's like tied up. Then you got Page 1 and Ulti are both knocked out. Luffy knocked out Page 1 and Yamato knocked out Ulti. So that's 3 Toby Roppo knocked out. You still have Who's Who, Drake, and Black Maria. Because Page 1, Ulti, and Sasaki, those 3 are already knocked out. So you still have 3 more left. Sasaki, Drake, Ulti, Page 1, Black Maria, Who's Who. Yeah, you got 3 left. So half of the Toby Roppo fighting force has been knocked out. Still don't know what role Drake is going to play due to the fact that he's a double agent still working for the world government as a pirate. So we still don't know what he's going to do after this war on Wano is done. Does he just report back to Sword? What is going to happen? Sasaki is knocked out since when? Oh, he's not knocked out. He's just bound and chained in one separate section of the castle. So he's currently out of the picture for right now, unless he breaks free of them and we finally find out what he can do. But he's not knocked out, though. He's not knocked out. Ulti and Ulti and Page 1 are the ones who are knocked out. Sasaki is just bound off in one separate section of the castle. But I honestly don't know where the story is going to go. This is why I love going in blind. I don't look up any hints. I don't try to look up any spoilers or anything like that, because I love going in completely dumbfounded, completely empty of any idea of what's going on. So that way my reactions are a lot more natural. Ulti's voice should be funny when we finally hear it, both Japanese and English. Okay, so I have an idea of what her Japanese voice may sound like. Let's see. I say the three of them are down. Down doesn't mean out. Well, yeah. Currently down, but who knows if they're permanently out of the picture. But for right now, they're out of commission. For right now. That much I can't say. I'll wait until Wano is finished in the anime to watch it. You are going to be waiting a long time. Because the anime is just now getting to the point where Queen arrives at Udon Prison. Y'all remember when I read the chapter for Udon Prison? Last year. So if you're waiting for Wano to be finished in the anime, you're going to be waiting for a long time, comma. Going to be waiting for a long time. But yeah, so it's I'm kind of wondering, like, what are the abilities of the Tobiropo? Like, I know Kaido has a penchant for introducing people. I know, but I don't care. I can wait. Well, you have an enormous amount of patience, Karma, and it'll serve you well. Kaido has a penchant for recruiting people who have animal-based powers. So I wouldn't be surprised if Black Maria could turn into something, if Sasaki could turn into something, if Who's Who could turn into something. I wouldn't be surprised. So maybe somewhere around there we might get that Ankylosaurus that y'all waiting on. But overall, I thought all of these chapters were good. So now to talk about the Awakened Logia's idea that I had. Just the thought of Awakened Logia powers. It seems too OP for Oda to just straight up introduce out of nowhere. Now here's the thing. We know it's a thing. It's not confirmed to be a thing, but we know it's a thing due to the fact that Punk Hazard exists the way it is now. It's the same place where Aokiji and Akainu decided to have their 10-day long fight to decide who would become the new fleet admiral before the time skip. And the entire island's landscape is permanently changed, yet at the same time unchanging, which means that one side is in a permanent volcanoscape where everything is on fire at all times and it's sweltering hot, whereas the other side of the island is completely and eternally frozen. And the thing is, they both meet up at each other, yet they don't cancel each other out. So that tells me that prolonged exposure or prolonged use of a Logia-type devil fruit can literally permanently alter the environment that it's used on. Because otherwise, Punk Hazard wouldn't be looking the way it is now. It would have met up at the middle, it would have fizzled each other out. Awakened Logia, I think the first time we saw that was Drum Island. When the guy tells Dalton about Ace, he mentions that Ace showed up, stopped the snowing, and then KO and Crocodile allowed it to rain. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't... You said you would think of a crew name for yourself. Did I think of one? Yes. I kind of had, like, on one side I was thinking of the People's Pirates. But then it just felt like it was too much on the nose. Then I thought of the Q-Tip Pirates, which is my nickname that my little sister gave me. That's my nickname, so either the Q-Tip Pirates, the People's Pirates. the Continuum Pirates or People's Pirates, either one of those. But it's hard to decide something that's already been taken and something that also sounds awesome at the same time. But going back to what I was saying about Awakened Logia, can you imagine, like, for instance, Logia, an Awakened Logia Kizaru? Like, how would that even work? He can basically shoot lasers out of himself or teleport himself using light for light speed travel. Can you imagine what would happen if he actually has an Awakened Logia form or Awakened Logia powers? Like, what that would do to the environment? Would it always be bright? Would it allow him to use his powers from any point where the light is and just shoot lasers out of there? It's just, I just kind of been thinking, like, this, I'm not going to have like a whole giant discussion on this. I just wanted to bring this up. But the thought of different types of Logias being able to change the environment around them, just like an Awakened Paramecia would, it just makes me think just powers that are already OP already. Awakening them would just bring them into absurd levels of power. Like Kizaru, move at light speed, can shoot ginormous explosive lasers out of his body, can form light constructs that can also Awakened Kizaru. Maybe that's why Enies Lobby is always daytime. No, it was nighttime one time, because when Lucci came to get the blueprints from Iceberg, wasn't it nighttime during then when they finally revealed themselves as CP9 agents? What more can Kizaru do? Isn't OP enough? Exactly, I was just using him as an example. He literally does not need to be awakened, because then everyone would die and everyone would lose, because he'd literally become a literal element of light. And could literally, like, wouldn't that be OP if any source of light anywhere he could just control and shoot out lasers from them? Don't be in a room with a whole bunch of windows, because he'll just reflect them off at you. The fact that they fought for 10 days straight, non-stop, just baffles me. Like, did they at least take a bathroom break? I doubt it. They don't seem like the type to give any other, Aokiji and Kuzan don't seem like the type to give either one of themselves a reprieve in the face of, who would be running the entire Marines. Water 7 was night, and his lobby is always sunny. Interesting. Water 7 was night, but Ennie's lobby is always sunny. Okay, I get it. But that's just a little something I just wanted to bring to your guys' attention. Maybe think a little bit about. I know I've been thinking about it for a long time. Awakened Logia types, and which makes me wonder, is Blackbeard a candidate for Awakened Logia type? Just cover the world in darkness and pretty much do whatever you want. Or make it so that since he's a special Logia type, make it so that he doesn't necessarily have to touch a Devil Fruit user in order for him to negate their powers. Maybe just cover the entire place in darkness, and the effects of touching them is in the darkness itself. Making it so that he doesn't have to touch them, he can just, weaken them. Like Palpatine's dark aura from Star Wars Battlefront 2. Where it just makes people weak just by being in it. Maybe an awakened Yami Yami no Mi can make Devil Fruit users' powers weakened or nullified just by being in it, in that state. Like maybe it's like a miasma that just sets over the area, and just being in it causes Devil Fruit users to become normal, so that Blackbeard doesn't have to touch them at all. That's a scary ability, but something I would not put them past to do. Hey, your rage, what's going on? Sorry you're coming near the tail end of this stream, because I have been carrying on for a little while. Wouldn't Kizaru power be the counter for Blackbeard's darkness? Here's the thing. We don't even know if his darkness is actually weak to light. I mean, sure, he needed to be in darkness in order to take Whitebeard's power, but we don't necessarily know if Kizaru's power is what it would take for his darkness to be nullified. We still need more info on it. But overall, that's just... Your brother put that text. Don't let your brother take your phone up so much. But that's just my thoughts on like awakened devil fruit powers and the like. So this is where I'm going to end it here for today, folks. Thank you for just sticking with me. Like 12 people just sticking with me all this time. Starting the One Piece manga. If you're just now starting it, then I suggest you read it until you catch up to where we are. Because I don't want anything that's said here today to spoil anything that you haven't yet to read yet. I want you to enjoy that for yourself, your age. So if you're just now starting like early on, then don't watch any of my reactions because I'm more than likely I'm pretty much farther ahead than you if you say you're just starting. So Blackbeard will eat Kizaru alive? Don't know. We don't know. We don't even know. Only took 1 hour and 45 minutes. A little bit longer than I was expecting, but I just kind of wanted to get everything that was in my mind out. So thank you guys for just sticking with me for all this time. It really does mean the world to me. One little bit of advice for all of you out there right now. Please be safe. Wash your hands. If you're going out, wear a mask. It is absolutely imperative because this pandemic is still out there. People are still getting hurt. And people are still contracting it. The numbers are rising. Just be careful out there. As I want to see you guys back here again. Just stay safe. Stay positive. Don't let what the world may seem like out there right now bring you down. So that's all I got to say concerning that. So hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always... Later, peoples. In robot voice, thank you for joining One Piece Reflections, month of June. I hope you stay healthy and safe too. Great stream, later days. Oh, good lord, I gotta watch Weekenders now. Thank you. Thank you for that. I gotta watch Weekenders now.